May the forces be with you.
White and nerdy, all because I'm white and nerdy. Holy cow, I'm white and nerdy.
Forces are all around us. Like the force of gravity acting on me while in this stunt. The force of gravity acts down while normal force acts up, canceling out the force of gravity so I don't fall flat on my face and die. Normal forces always act on stationary objects, and the force of gravity acts on everything except objects in free fall, but we won't get into that nonsense. Newton's first law states that an object at rest will stay at rest, and an object in motion will stay in motion unless an unbalanced force acts on it. If it wasn't for the force of gravity, Coleman would continue to fly into the sky. Likewise, if it wasn't for normal force, she would plummet into the depths of the earth and die. Again. Also, Newton's second law of motion states that the acceleration of an object is produced when a force acts on it. The greater the mass of the object, the greater the amount of force needed to accelerate the object. But we'll talk about that at a time when I'm not almost dying.
Newton's third law of motion states that for each action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. As Coleman pushes down on the trampoline, it reacts by pushing her back up, giving her the ability to do awesome flips.
Everybody with me got their own parachute. You ain't scared of heights when you're sipping on booze. Party all night like I'm flying jet blue. You ain't never seen nobody get this loose. Shawty acting naughty with the body, what it do? Jump with this man. Swing, batter, swing, batter, swing, batter, swing.
What are you guys gonna play today?
Softball! A prime example of the second law of motion is hitting. At the moment a ball contacts your bat, it is traveling under the combined forces of drag, lift, inertia, and gravity. However, the force of the bat is far greater than any of these individual forces. Therefore, the ball moves in the direction that the bat dictates. The sum total of all the forces acting on the ball are drastically skewed toward the impact force of the bat. As the ball leaves the bat, inertia, gravity, drag, and lift take over again, causing the ball to immediately slow down and drop. The ball eventually drops because gravity becomes the most dominant force acting on the ball. Now let's talk about impulse in softball. Impulse is the product of the average force on an object and the time interval over which it acts. In softball, let's say a .144 kilogram ball is pitched at 38 meters per second, and the ball is hit back at the same speed in the opposite direction. In this case, the impulse would be negative 10.94 kilograms meter per second.
Coleman, you're an excellent pitcher.
Thanks. I work out.
What?
A pendulum is an object hung from a fixed point that swings back and forth under the action of gravity. In the example of a playground swing, the swing is supported by chains that are attached to the fixed point at the top of the swing set. When the swing is raised and released, it will move freely back and forth due to the force of gravity on it. The swing continues moving back and forth without any extra outside help until friction between the air in the swing and between the chains and the attachment points slows it down and eventually stops it. The time it takes the pendulum to swing back to its original position is called the period of the pendulum. The period of the pendulum depends on the force of gravity as well as the length of the pendulum.
I'm gonna pop some tags, only got $20 in my pocket. I'm hunting, looking for a come up. This is being awesome. I'm gonna pop some tags, only got $20 in my pocket. I'm hunting, looking for a come up. This is being awesome. I'm gonna pop some tags, only got $20 in my pocket.
So what are we doing?
Popsicle break.
Popsicle break.
You love popsicles.